Welcome everyone to the last Zalon of the season, celebrating the completion of 33 years of sharing music and arts and community. Tonight, may the expression of beauty, power, and that can be revealed through the ineffability speak to us now in a way that is most needed during these unprecedented times. Hearing some outside noise, I'm not sure what that is. Maybe we should just ask.
So that was actually our first performer just queuing up their mic, I think, and
okay,
a little bit of background.
All right, cool. So I just want to acknowledge everyone who's engaging in the important conversations and taking positive action toward racial and social justice in this country. For those of you who are new to the Zalon, just a little bit of background. I started my Salon, the home concert version of this, in 1986 to carry on the tradition of music gatherings in the home that can be traced all the way back to ancient Greece and Rome and then flourished as literary events in the 17th and 18th centuries in Italy and France, and then came to include more musicians and artists in Europe in the 19th century. I started the Zalon during the pandemic to continue the tradition online, connect our community far and wide, support artists, and to help keep the arts alive during a time when live performance faces an uncertain future. These programs create a contemporary spin on the 19th century European salons by featuring a wide array of artists working in a multitude of genres, as you'll hear tonight. So now, in our busy lives, how often do we have the opportunity to just drop in and get still and become receptive? This is a chance to do that. So I invite you to listen deeply, take a deep breath, to see what stirs your soul, observe what resonates with you. You may ask questions of the artists in the chat box and they'll answer after their sets and at the end of the program. I highly encourage you to donate to these wonderful artists. You can make a simple tax-deductible donation through our fiscal sponsor, Crossroads Music. And I want to thank my longtime friend, Gerardo Rizumni, for setting up this platform so you can make easy donations that will go directly to the performers, many of whom have been out of work for months. We'll provide that link in the chat bar. In fact, Gerardo has just posted it, and that's a live link, so you can click on it anytime. And it's also in my email announcements. I'll give a brief introduction about each performer prior to their performance, but if you'd like to read their whole bio and find out what else they're doing, follow them, purchase their CDs, and just learn more about them, please go to the Performers Table, which is our virtual webpage designed to promote the artists. And that link to donate and the webpage will be up for another couple of weeks, so it's not going to go down after this Zalon. You can access it freely. And if you lose the link, please feel free to email me and I'll send it to you. So once again, a huge shout out to Adam Vidixis, who's been doing just an amazing job as lead engineer, and his fabulous team from Temple University, who are helping out with the Zoom stage production. And since this is the last Salon of the season, I'd like them all to just wave to you so you can see who's actually behind the scenes there. I want to acknowledge the time and expertise of Adam, Marina Ballesteros, Jonah Pfluger, and Andrew Litz, who have volunteered their time this spring so that things run smoothly. So are you guys there? Can you wave and say hello? Thank you so much. We couldn't do this without you. So now, without further ado, let me welcome to the virtual stage my acclaimed colleague, writer, artist, and scholar activist, Dr. Angelique V. Nixon, who joins us from her home in St. Augustine, Trinidad and Tobago. Angelique is a Bahamas-born, Trinidad-based writer, artist, and scholar activist. Her research and creative work has been published widely. Angelique strives through her activism, writing, and art to disrupt silences, challenge systems of oppression, and carve spaces for resistance and desire. Angelique will read from her poem, This Arc Towards Justice, that she wrote as part of our joint collaboration with Susquehanna University, who commissioned us to create a new work, reflecting on Martin Luther King's vision and where we are over 50 years later, still fumbling in the shadow of his dreams. This work takes on an even deeper meaning now as we honor the Black Lives Matter movement. And we dedicate ourselves to ensuring that we in this country and around the world treat all people with equal parity, respect, and justice. Angelique's poem addresses the truth of war, violence, the struggle for equality, and stories that need to be told. Yet her trajectory also points to the possibilities of peace, love, and liberation. And that's what inspired me so much to write the music, because transformation means a lot to me as a composer. It was a great honor to set Angelique's poem to music and have it premiered at Martin Luther King Day at Susquehanna University several years ago. Tonight, after Angelique reads her work, we will hear the last 3 minutes of the piece that I wrote, a 12-minute piece, performed by Fourth Coast Ensemble in Chicago, with Sarah Vanderplag, soprano, Michael Weiss-Holmes, alto saxophone, Andrew Rosenblum, piano. Let's give our warmest welcome to Dr. Angelique V. Nixon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Andrea. Thanks to the whole team. It's really an honor to be invited to do this. And I want to start with a quote from Dr. King to have us think and meditate as I share my poem with you. We must never allow ourselves to become satisfied with unattained goals. We must always maintain a kind of divine discontent. This arc towards justice. In the dusk of this long struggle for equality, we've lost our way to the mountaintop of Dr. King's dreams of a promised land. Justice rooted in peace, liberation of our minds and bodies, freedom to be whole. Loved, love in our philosophy of being. Human, being human and free. For love is being. For love is justice. For love is peace. For love is liberation. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. 50 years later, we are still fumbling in the shadow of your dreams. We live in times of endless wars, cycles of poverty and senseless violence. Slow devastation of our humanity, this planet, the pursuit of profit over our labored breath. 50 years later, we remember, we honor, we give thanks to those who fought and died, to those who organized, to those whose voices and faces we may never know. To those in battle on the front lines and sidelines, to the women in the movement, we are still waiting, wanting your stories. We know your name, Bayard Rustin. We know your name, Gloria Richardson. We celebrate your fearlessness. We speak out your names, knowing we don't know enough about you and the many others like you. For love is being. For love is justice. For love is peace. For love is liberation.
To the women in the movement, we are still waiting, wanting your stories, wanting your stories. To those whose lives were deemed not respectable enough to be on the front lines, we are still waiting, wanting your stories, wanting your stories. Your story. I don't know your stories, and the many others like you.
Thank you so much, Angelique. It's such an honor to have you with us tonight, and it was such an honor to collaborate with you on this piece that we did a few years ago. It just feels so prescient now. So I hope that you'll be able to stay on the call. She's in St. Augustine, Trinidad and Tobago, and talk to us a little bit at the very end. I'm sure we'll all love to hear more from you. But thank you again. Let's show our love to Dr. Angelique V. Nixon. And if you're interested in hearing the whole piece, that's on my website. Just click under Works, Chamber Music, this arc towards justice, and the complete poem is there, and you can also watch the complete performance. So we are going to move now to Argentina to welcome Argentine composer, arranger, and bandoneon player Leandro Ragusa, who writes and arranges music for ensembles in Buenos Aires, New York, and Montreal. In his latest album with Quinteto de Academia, he combines the popular spirit of tango and Argentine folklore with the resources of chamber music composition. For tonight's concert, Leandro has invited Nili Grieco, flutist and director of Quinteto de Academia, to perform some of his compositions that he's arranged for the duo. For more information about Leandro and the Quinteto, please visit our performers table. And let's give a hearty welcome to the virtual stage, Leandro and Nili, performing for you from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Hi, Andrea. Hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, yes, we are from Buenos Aires. We are very happy to be here. This is my second time in your salon, Andrea. Well, this time from Buenos Aires. It's very far, but hopefully we are here again. So, I don't want to talk too much because my pieces, I'm going to play two pieces that I composed a couple of years ago, and it's almost 10 minutes, so I don't want to talk too much, and I just want to go just to play right away. So,
thank you,
after we pardon. So, we're going to begin with one piece called Al Trio Quasimodo. gracias.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet
So,
you. Yeah,
right away, we are going to switch to the other one. And this one is a piece that I wrote kind of 5 years ago, dedicated to my daughter Catalina. So it's called Tema de Cata. ¿Cómo? Thank you very much, Andrea. Thank you, Adam. Thank you to my friend, Gerardo Razone. Thank you very much. Enjoy the night.
Thank you.
Wonderful to have you. So before you go away, we did have a question about the bandoneon. Maybe you could talk to us a little bit about your instrument. And I know a lot of your friends from the Philadelphia Argentine Tango School are here watching you. Send their love too. Everybody's writing in to you on the chat how wonderful your
Well, sorry, what is the question?
The question is, tell us a little bit about the bandoneon.
A little bit? Just a little bit? Okay. Well, just a little bit. The bandoneon is a German instrument. Is one of the most famous instruments and typical instruments in tango. He arrived around 20th century. It's similar to the. I have to choose the most important spots to say, because if I have to talk about bandoneon, I already talked like 1 hour and a half on the Philly festival, and it wasn't enough. So it's similar to the accordion, but just similar, not the same. In the bandoneon, every note you open one note, you just keep playing, keep pushing the same button, and it's different sounds, open and closing. For making chords, it's not like an accordion that you just push one note and you have the one chord. No, it's very similar with the piano. You have to make the chords note by note, and it's an aerophone and German instrument. So I don't know if you want me to talk too much about this, because we don't have too much time. But you tell me a little.
You can stay till the end of the Zalon. If you can stay until after the performances, I'm sure people will have more questions for you, and there'll be a chance
Of course.
to interact more.
I will stay tuned.
Just so you know, those pieces were just gorgeous. People were working on the harmonies, haunting and sensual and beautifully performed by both of you, Leandro and Nili. Let's give them another round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you very
much.
Bravo, bravi. So unfortunately, our cellist this evening, Steve Kramer, informed me that he's not feeling well tonight and won't be able to perform. We look forward to hearing his beautiful Bach another time. And we are going to continue on with our next artist, the wonderful dancer, Nicole Francesca Diaz-Pellot. And Nicole is a performance artist specializing in Afro, modern, and contemporary improv dance techniques. She received her degree in dance from the University of the Arts. Throughout her dance career, she's been awarded scholarships to dance in intensive throughout the United States, including the Alvin Ailey Summer Intensive Program. Having worked with a variety of renowned choreographers, she was introduced to Manfred Fischbeck, where under his guidance, she embraced contemporary improvisation, and she danced with Group Motion Dance Company for 5 years. Nicole is also a candidate in the Dunham Technique Certification Program, an African-American dance form engaging the mind, body, and spirit through modern ballet and traditional dances. Let's give our love to Nicole Francesca Diaz-Pellot, who's dancing from her boyfriend's backyard in New Jersey, and she is performing a piece, I Can't Breathe, to poetry by Isaiah. Nicole.
You tell me I'm free. You tell me I'm equal. You tell me I'm wanted, but our blood on your ground teaches its own sequel. I can't breathe. That badge that you wear, that code that you stand by, it's full of shh. No more cries. No more pain, no more protests. We just play in the game. That's what they say, yet we keep on dying. Mothers crying, souls are flying, government is lying. This land that we call a country is horrifying, and I can't breathe. The sky is lit by those flames that howl for justice, but we can't fight for no justice if y'all are bloodless, gutless. Man, it make me disgusted to see another black soul gone from the face of this earth. You were not born racist, you were retarded. How many others? From the beginning of time, we were held down, taught to keep our head down, taught to slam the shovel into the hard ground, taught by a whip that cracks with its own sound, taught to be happy with the constant booming letdowns. They handed me my life, I looked at it and had a breakdown, because I knew my life was doomed as soon as I take off that cap and gown. We are in a state of emergency, an emergency that needs a revival. A revival of the black boy in prison, the black boy on the street, the black girl with dreams, the black girl who's been made obsolete. America didn't get better. We just made it look better. We are still slaves. Slaves of poverty, slaves of the media, slaves of mental illness, slaves of the demon that roars in the night, slaves of a land that was stolen in broad daylight. I can't breathe. I get scared when I walk down the street. I get scared when I hear a knock at my door. I get scared when a cop passes by, because I don't know if that's my final goodbye. I am the black boy broken by blue suit, bullies buried by bloody bullets, beaten broke because bliss bought bruises. From the beginning of time, you've taken and taken and taken from those burnt, sunny summer fields. You've taken and taken and taken from the man trying to take care of his children. You've taken and taken and taken your knee to my neck. And as a wise leader once said, it's not a chip on my shoulder, that's your foot on my neck. So if I can't breathe, my black life doesn't matter. I can't wait for your rose-tinted glasses of America to be shattered.
Wow. Bravo.
Absolutely awesome.
Beautiful
powerful.
performance. Do you have audio? We do have a question for you from Lewis, who says you're a great dancer and wants to know if you create your own movements to music or are they choreographed by others?
So I have Manfred Fischbeck to thank for that. I create my own work. I would consider it improv with structure. So I create different boundaries within my movement, whether it be stagnant, jumping, and then I feed off of that. A lot of the time it's very much so the music that compels me. A lot of my activism is through my movement. And I have to say, thanks to Manfred, I've been able to kind of fuse the two together. So yeah, it's just movement that's coming from a different place than my original dance background came from, with ballet and everything, which is beautiful, but it's deeply rooted.
Thank you, Nicole. It comes across as deeply rooted. And I know that Manfred is watching tonight, and I'm sure he's happy to know that he's been your mentor. That was just so beautiful. We look forward to talking to you a little bit more later in the evening. Thank you again. Nicole Francesca Diaz-Pellot.
Thank you again.
I have found tremendous emotional and artistic connection with people through the sharing of these recordings on social media and other platforms during this time of isolation. And making these recordings have suddenly brought me much needed catharsis as I work through my grief and anger, frustration, and desolation. As Andrea mentioned, what you will see and hear this evening is a recording I made of Eric Whitacre's Sleep back at the end of May. We had just crossed 100,000 mark in death tolls, and George Floyd had just been murdered. So watching Nicole's dance just now really put everything in context for me with this piece. And I needed to find a way in the last week of May to respond to this ever-growing darkness around us. And Whitacre's piece with its searing harmonies and haunting text really spoke directly to me. I hope that this piece will bring you some solace and quiet respite from all this noise in the world, while allowing you to mourn the memories of those that we have lost. Now, before I ask Adam to play the video, I just wanted to say a quick word about the recording process. Like most New York apartments, there is no good place to record with all the constant city noises and neighbors walking on squeaky floors above me. I can't tell you how many good takes were lost because of some errant dog barking or loud music being blasted. So it's a miracle that these recordings even happen. I am an Apple user, so the multitrack recordings are made on GarageBand on my iPad with a USB Yeti Blue mic, which is actually the same mic that I'm using right now on the Zalon. The videos are recorded with my iPhone selfie camera, and then everything's been edited and processed on Final Cut Pro and Audacity. I also sing everything at pitch without any electronic manipulation, as I feel that it lends itself to the authenticity of the work. As Andrea has mentioned, I've been blessed with a pretty wide vocal range, which allows me to sing both bass and countertenor professionally here in the city. So I thought I would end my little spiel with just a quick demonstration of my range so you can hear this in person before you hear the recording. So here goes. All right, Adam, take it away.
I
What dreams make love both dark and deep, of dying days and soaring days, as I
Stunning.
Thank you.
So just a reminder to all performers and Philip just to read the chat because people are responding to your performances as it happens, as they're moved to write something. Simply gorgeous, exquisite tuning, just so beautiful, unbelievable, incredible. People are speechless. You've just heard Phillip Cheah sing all of the choral parts in Eric Whitacre's Sleep with poetry by Anthony Silvestri. Do we have any questions for Philip? Somebody wants to know if there's a link where they can see this video again. Maybe, Philip, you could put the link in the chat.
Yes, I can do that. And also, someone asked me, I think Gerardo was asking me what order I choose to record the parts. I tried to start with some sort of bass line, whether it's the actual bass line or a bass line of the harmonies. But the funny thing is, as you record, I don't know how many people actually do multi-track recordings in the audience right now, but it is not an easy thing because you lay in a track, and then you lay another track on top of that, and you realize that the track you just sang, the intervals weren't quite the same as you wanted it to be, and so then you go back and change it again. So it's this constant, it makes you really think about tuning in such an interesting way. So I tried to build from the bass up to save my voice too, but sometimes I find that I just end up singing a middle part and then adding up a part after that to tune those two parts together and then fix. So it's almost like a puzzle solving process. So yeah.
Suzette asks you, how many hours did it take to edit this?
On average, a piece, so Sleep was about 5 minutes long. On average, I would say from start to finish about 3.5 days.
Well, thank you so much, Philip. It's just wonderful to have you on the virtual stage. And
thank you for having me.
In my living room, I think this was just a stunning performance. and following the other artists, there was an intense power to this piece, I think, for all of us as we're navigating these new waters together. So thank you so much for sharing that beauty with us. And if you can stay on, I'm sure there'll be some more questions for you.
Definitely.
Thank you again, Phillip Cheah.
Thank you.
I know there are more people clapping. We've got a lot of people, I think, out there. How many do we have? Can somebody read that? 100.
We're at 101 currently.
101. So we are going to move to the location of Oregon to hear New Zealander Tessa Brinckman, a flutist of chameleon-like gifts and virtuoso elegance, who enjoys an international career. Tessa has performed flute here with electronics in my living room. It's wonderful to have her back. She'll be performing with Matt Goodrich. She loves interdisciplinary work, and this year has many new collaborations and an upcoming solo album and various single releases that you can read more about on the performer's table. Matt Goodrich is a graduate of Oberlin College Conservatory and the University of Washington, an active collaborative performer. He's recently toured the Western US. And Matt and Tessa are overjoyed finally to play together in a socially distant manner after 7 years of talking about it. This is the first part of a piece that they had written for a concert that was canceled due to the pandemic. The concert before the war links themes of conflict and nostalgia with music and poetry. Let's all welcome Tessa Brinckman and Matt Goodrich, performing for you from Oregon.
Hello. Hi. Hi. So we just wanted to mention that this piece is by Eugene Bozza called Agrestide. So we did not write it, but it was going to be part of a larger program where we were going to have poetry by Indigenous, Black, and people of color alongside pieces that were more from the European tradition. And this theme of before the war, it's really a feeling of both grief and nostalgia, and also the anticipation of change, either through struggle or revolution. So these different pieces mark those different time territories, if you like. However, COVID happened, so here we are playing one of the pieces by French composer Eugene Bozza called Agrestide.
Did you say you're from New Zealand? Are they in New Zealand?
New Zealand.
Oregon.
But she's living in Oregon, originally from New Zealand. They're performing from Tessa's home in Southern Oregon. We do have a question for you, Tessa and Matt. from David Clowney, who says, such fine music performed so expressively, would love to hear more about the piece and how it integrates with the larger project. Virtuoso for sure. Tessa, if we could just request that you speak a little closer to the microphone. We had a little trouble hearing you in the very beginning. So you can tell us a little bit more about the piece and how it relates to the overall.
So part of it is we're both a little frustrated with the way classical music has been so white and so European and so in a sort of a chorale. And we really wanted to make a program that sort of integrated poetry and music together, and also, brought in Indigenous, Black, and people of color in terms of poetic voices, so that we could really start to address and feel the sense of the era that we're in a tremendous state of transition and grief, and we don't know where we're going, and it's quite terrifying. And there's a lot of poets and musicians who were addressing this, and specifically Bozza wrote this in 1942. This was after Jews had been expelled from Paris, and he was, of course, he was writing in south of France, I think. But, France was occupied. And so, I'm really interested in the way musicians, composers respond to catastrophe and to oppression, basically. I hope does that answer the question? I can go on more if you want.
I think that's great for now, but please stay on so we can talk to you a little bit more later. Your performance was stunning. The ensemble was so beautiful. It was really just an incredibly lively and, what do people say, bravo and spectacular performance. So thank you so much. That's Tessa Brinckman and Matt Goodrich performing from Southern Oregon.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk to you in a little bit. But for now, just a reminder that there is a link where you can make tax-deductible donations that go directly to the performers, many of whom have been out of work for months. So please do check out the link. Thank you again to Gerardo, who created this platform through his organization where he serves as treasurer, Crossroads Music. So he's just posted that in the chat, and you can make a donation that will go to the performers who really they'll be very, very grateful for that. And we are going to move on to hear Lexi Weege. She has performed here in my home with her group Weege and the Wonder Twins, although today he's performing for us tonight. With wild performances of original music, Lexi Weege channels vintage vibes of the Kinks, Julie London, Bessie Smith, and more. Front woman, she's an acrobat, vocal acrobat, leaping from sultry to fierce to playful to lyrical. She's normally backed by a band, including identical twins, Tom and AJ Del Negro, and they call themselves Weege and the Wonder Twins. And tonight she'll be performing solo from her mom's house in Massachusetts. I met Lexi, for those of you who are out there in Taos, New Mexico watching, I met Lexi at the Adobe Bar where she was playing and she was on tour, and I just said, wow, you've got a rockin' voice. Can you come to Philadelphia and perform for us here? And she did. It was just wonderful to have her. She stayed over. I think that was the night we went out and we went to a local bar and we all sang. So I'm very happy to welcome Lexi to the virtual stage for the first time. Let's give lots of love to Lexi Weege from Weege and the Wonder Twins. Woo! There she is.
Cool. Hi everyone, I'm Lexi. I'm usually with a band. My band was supposed to join me tonight, but we're all essential workers, and I'm the only one who happens to have tomorrow morning off. So, so I thought to myself, what could I do to, how can I make this one big cohesive thing? And I decided that I would feature songs about feeling left out and feeling lonely and isolated. This tune is it's called Left Out. Saw the car pull up and I didn't walk out. I watched from the window and I felt so left out. I don't go out too much these days. I'm living alone and the rent is steep. Dreaming too big, gone, too little sleep. Am I lonely or living beyond my own means? I feel so lost in a hazy daydream. I don't know what to do. It's hard to be pleasant when you're living in a loop. I saw the car pull up and I didn't walk out. I watched from the window and I felt so left out. I don't go out too much these days. I feel so lost in a hazy daydream. I don't know what to do. It's hard to be pleasant when you're living in a loop. I saw the car pull up and I didn't walk out. I watched from the window and I felt so left out. I don't go out too much these days. I don't go out these days. I don't go out these days. Oh. Thank you. You're too kind. So, as I said before, I usually play in a band, and this tune was co-written with my guitar player, who's a plumber. He's out there fighting the good fight. So, send him some good vibes from wherever you are. It's real hard out there. It's real scary. This tune's called Countin'. I just wrote it during the quarantine. Counting, counting, that's all he does these days. We sit and watch as time goes by. I'm patient, prudent, these days I do my best. I'm not happy, but I'm alright. Or sometimes there's no need for words, as if they come. We sit and watch as time goes by. There are poems and patterns in the spaces of his speech. I think that we'll get along. Counting, counting, days since we last touched. Skin on skin like when we were young. I'm pacing, pacing, what more can I do? I'm not happy, but I've got you. Oh, sometimes there's no need for words, as if they come. We sit and watch as time goes by. There are poems and patterns in the spaces of his speech. I think that we will get along all right. Oh, I think that we will get along all right. I think that we will get along, get along, get along all right. Thanks, everybody.
Wow! How do we
so much, Lexi. It's just wonderful to have you. It's really nice to hear you perform solo again. Anybody have any questions for Lexi Weege? Can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on now?
So the twins and I are working on a new record, and we're going to be recording live to tape. So we have the tape machine, and we've been searching for unconventional locations to record it, and right now we're looking at a bookstore in Viroqua, Wisconsin to potentially do it in, a cabin on an island in Maine. We're just trying to think about, once the world opens up and it's safe to do so, an unconventional place where we can record this analog record.
Well, if anybody wants to donate their house, I know we have viewers from Singapore with us and Berlin and New Mexico, so please get in touch with Lexi. That sounds wonderful. When you say tape, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it's, I believe, 2-inch analog tape. We found it at an estate sale, and in a bizarre twist of fate, one of our colleagues just had a machine that it would run. So we've been doing tests on it. It sounds really nitty-gritty and really great.
Cool. Well, please give the twins my best, and it's wonderful to have you. We'll talk to you a little bit more later. Lexi Weege, let's give her some more love.
Thank you, guys.
So I am delighted to welcome for the first time to the Zalon Salon my dear friend Paul Reisler. We've been talking about doing this for years, and we just couldn't coordinate him with his very busy schedule to get to Philadelphia. So that's one of the nice things about doing this virtually, is that people can be included who normally wouldn't have been able to. Paul Reisler is a composer, songwriter, recording artist, performer, and teacher. He's the founder and artistic director of the great songwriting platform for teens to build community by song, Kid Pan Alley. He's also the co-founder of Trapezoid Band and several current bands. Over the past 45 years, he's performed in over 3,000 concerts and written over 3,000 compositions, recorded close to 36 albums, and artists including Sissy Spacek and Corey Harris, many others, have recorded his songs. We met years ago at the wonderful artist residency, the Virginia Center for the Creative Arts, and again in France, in Auvillard, and it is a pleasure and an honor to welcome Paul Reisler to the virtual stage. Paul.
Well, thank you. Well, what a joy to be here, and thank all of you for the gift of your music, of your dance, of your poetry. It fills us all up in these strange times. And a special thanks to Andrea, who is such a gift to all of us with her salons and all of her music. I'm a huge fan, so thank you, Andrea. Well, I thought I'd start with an instrumental. Actually, it's two pieces that I wrote a long time separated from each other that both ended up being titles of albums of mine. The first one, Moon Run, was an album we did with Trapezoid, and the second one is Birth of a River from an instrumental album. And I found they just kind of fit together. Oops.
Bravo. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Well, so as Andrea mentioned, I started a program about 20 years ago called Kid Pan Alley. And we actually, we've worked with kids from 3 to 103 because we have both a program for really young kids and also an intergenerational program, but it's mostly actually elementary age kids because I've found that there's an inverse relationship between the quality of the songs and the age of the kids after about 4th or 5th grade. And we've written about 2,700 songs now with about 65,000 children all across the country, and I'd like to do one of those songs for you now. This is one that we wrote as part of our Nashville project with the Nashville Chamber Orchestra. And I was in there and I asked, well, what do you want to write about today? And this was a 3rd grade class. And everybody's hands shot up. And by the time I got around to this one boy, I said, well, what do you want to write about? And he said, oh, I can't remember. I forgot. And I said, hey, wait a minute. That is a great title. And we started talking about who is it that forgets things. And they talked about their grandparents. They talked about me. And I told them the story that my late wife had in one of her plays about late in her father's life. They were having this really deep discussion. And all of a sudden he looked up at her and he said, well, tell me something. Who are you? And Julie said, oh, Julie, Dad, it's your daughter, Julie. And he says, oh, that's great. You sound and you look like a Portman. And I told the kids that story, and that made it into this song. Also, I'd like to invite you all. We do a Sunday night concert series virtually, and we almost every Sunday night. We're not doing it this Sunday, so I could be here with you all. But I'd love to invite you to join us, and you can just go to kidpanalley.org and find out about it. And we've had some really amazing artists, people like Kathy Mattea, John McCutcheon, Tom Paxton, Daryl Scott, Issei Barnwell, and we'd love to have some of you who performed tonight. It was really beautiful. Anyway, this is I Can't Remember, I Forgot. Oops. Remember what I forgot, to brush my teeth, to change my socks. I know there's something I should have done, like send a card or call someone. Seems like I do this a lot. Oh, I can't remember, I forgot. Hello, what's your name? My grandson Willie. You don't say. You and your papa look the same, and I'm so glad you came by today. Well, I can't remember what I forgot, to brush my teeth, to change my socks. I know there's something I should have done, like send a card or call someone. Seems like I do this a lot. Oh, I can't remember, I forgot. Well, I don't have much to say. I don't know sports or the latest craze, but I know time is slipping away, and I'm so glad you came by today. Oh, my head is bald and my hearing's gone, my memory's shot, the days seem long, though sometimes I can't remember who. I'm glad you're here to help me through. Seems like you've been here a lot. You remembered. Yes, you remembered. You remembered. I forgot.
Woo! It's Paul Reisler performing from Washington, Virginia. The really beautiful song and beautiful playing. There were a couple people who commented on your performances with Trapezoid. Ben Bingham, hi Ben, said his favorite concert ever was 1970 Brighton Trapezoid, and we all left singing. And Barbara Davis from New Mexico says, thank you, Paul, moving and lovely. I attended a performance by Trapezoid at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. many years ago. Were you with them then?
Yes, I was in from the beginning, and I still remember that performance because at that time we played four hammered dulcimers. It was about 1975, and you'd play something on the hammered dulcimer and it would come back to you about 2.5 minutes later. And it was a big mess. Although we had some other concerts there that were not quite the same. Like I remember we did one for the first anniversary of 9/11 that was quite moving.
Well, Paul, it's wonderful to have you with us, and we'll chat a little bit more in just a few minutes. Just a reminder, and thank you again, Paul. So glad that we could work this out to have you perform at the Zalon. It's really wonderful to see you. Just a reminder to have your drink of choice ready, because after the next performers, we're going to have a virtual toast and we'll have a chance to talk to the artists a little bit more. And also another reminder that the donation link is up so that you can support these fantastic artists. All the donations go towards the artists to help them during these pandemic times. So please do if you can. Every little bit helps. So now we end our program, certainly not least, with my gifted friends, husband and wife duo, Carol Morgan Eagle and Daniel Pretends Eagle, who will perform for you from their home in the mountains of Taos, New Mexico. After meeting in the underground music scene of Los Angeles, where Daniel fronted a roots rock band, he and dancer-singer Carol relocated to Taos in the early 90s. And they've been co-writing, recording, and producing their own music ever since, crafting a sound and songwriting style that expresses their eclectic interests, Celtic harmonies, gypsy melodies, Spanish rhythms, and the starkly beautiful and haunting landscape and fables of the Southwest. You can learn much more about them on the performers table. For now, I welcome you to join them in their home in Taos, New Mexico. This is Daniel Pretends Eagle, Carol Morgan Eagle.
At your salon in Philadelphia, of course, we enjoy being there, but thank you for keeping the music alive and the arts and dance and everything, Andrea, and the people who are all attending. Thank you for helping us all to keep this alive. The song we're going to do is called Sea of Storms.
Graceful, like the wind caught in the grain. A pair of eyes that shone like silver, a tongue that burned like flame. I got fingers that worked miracles to unweave a life of pain. There was magic in the music, it sounded in our veins. Now and every night and on every morn, we're lost remember you clearly in a little motel room, stretched naked on the bed, illuminated by the moon. Train tracks run dreams rode those rails to the ocean wide and deep. Now the stars are gone and sails are torn, tossed upon a sea of storms.
I stand beside a wishing well, throw a coin into the past. I see you draped in Queen Anne's lace, my sword is sharp and fast. Lead you to a ballroom where the dancers never sleep. Pledge to you my soul to forever keep. Now the garden gate is ruled by thorns as we waltz across this sea of storm. At risk, there was no way for me to know. Should have known the warrior needs a poet to survive. Should have been more dangerous to keep the dream alive. Now my blade is dull and the scabbard's worn as I drowned upon this sea of storm. So I'll make myself a highwayman, an alchemist, a priest. I'll still transform and bless for us the substance of our feast. But shall our hungry hearts be nourished and our captive souls released? Our waters all be calm, our prison walls be breached, and the sun shall rise on another morn as we navigate this sea of storms. Hermit's hair shall all be shorn as we lay upon this sea of storms.
Love you guys.
Oh. Laughing because, you know, otherwise we're in our music room hanging out together with you guys.
Playing Hollywood Squares.
Right. We love the Hollywood Squares or Brady Bunch that happens in the beginning. This next song, so we live in New Mexico, in northern New Mexico, Taos to be exact. And New Mexico is called a land of enchantment. And anybody who's lived here, spent some time here, also sometimes they call it the land of entrapment. And it's also just has such beauty, and just the people who live here, the community, the land, and the multicultures, the Native American culture, the Hispanic, the Anglo, the whoever else is here, all blend together into creating kind of a strange brew. So this next song is called Strange Incantado, and it carries a lot of imagery of where we live. And people, our Tasseño friends will recognize it. So it's a Strange Incantada.
The sunset on the mesa looks as red as blood in the trees in the arroyo. But waiting on the flood. It rushes down the mountain every now and then to bring life into this desert and to wash away our sins.
Well, I sit on the veranda, watch the rain go by. I see rainstorms in the distance as they walk along the sky. And the moonlight on the mountain as evening settles in takes me to a time and place I have never been. What is this enchantment? Why do I feel so strange? When I look down deep inside of me, something there has changed.
Every Christmas, Guadalupe cruises through the town in a gilded El Camino with the windows all rolled down. And the fires from the Pueblo paint her halo red as she offers benedictions, tossing candy to the dead.
I can hear the penitentes chanting down the road. When I look outside my window, there's only phantoms in the snow. And all throughout the winter, Orion stalks their trail, guided by the Milky Way, luminous and pale. In this land of strange enchantment, I may have lost my way. I'm quite certain who I was is not who I am today.
Farolitos on the plaza flicker through the night in an interplay of shadows and elusive light.
Somewhere in the shadows, you may find a door. It opens to a barrio you've never seen before. And if it all seems so familiar, vaguely like a dream, you may understand the world is much more than it seems. Where enchantment and adventure exist in equal parts. And la tierra of the spirit, and la tierra of the heart. What is this enchantment? Why do I feel so strange? When I look down deep inside of me, something there has changed. In la tierra encantada, I may have lost my way. I'm quite certain who I was is not who I am today.
Woo! Love that. I love your backdrop too.
Oh, thanks. Our music studio. Another.
Love the harmonies.
Anyways, thank you so much for having us, and we wish everyone the best, and that everyone stays healthy and in good spirits. And when you aren't in good spirits, you find solace at the Zalon. So again, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Carol and Daniel. Can you show them the tulips, because I think your friend Jennifer is watching. They have tulips that were given to them when they were here in Philadelphia performing by Jennifer Kopp Lewis.
Yeah, I don't know if you can really see them. They actually light up. But, you know, the thing about this Zalon, or the actual salon, which we love, is, you know, it's a 3-story house that you live in. And during the salon, there's choruses that are practicing on the stairwell, and we're over in a corner, you know, practicing our guitar, and there's people vocalizing and dancing, and it just is really a full-on salon experience. And then you go out into that beautiful upper room in that space and perform in this gorgeous house with all this wonderful audience. And then we stay overnight, and since there's so many people there, we're all like fitting into narrow beds and narrow spaces. And I fell in love with these tulips. And Jennifer, you're I don't know what her relationship is with you.
My salon assistant and very, very dear friend, and she also has a room in the house.
She packed it up and said, "Take this with you." And so here it is in our music room, a little bit of the salon of Philadelphia and Taos, New Mexico.
Thank you so much. It's just beautiful to be able to see you out there. I hope I'll be joining you in the fall. We'll see. I have a fellowship with the Wurlitzer Foundation of New Mexico, and we don't know what's happening yet with the artist colonies, but hopefully I'll be able to get there and write some music and see you all again. So please do stay on the line, performers. We would love to chat with you a little bit more. We're so happy, all of us, you know, to be able to perform for you, you know, to be able to present and perform for you at this time when we do, like Lexi said, we can feel isolated and alone. And this is a way that we can really come together and we can process things. I mentioned in the beginning that, you know, music and other arts have this ability to have an ineffable power, the things that we can't say in ordinary language. And so I believe that all of these performers have touched us so deeply tonight. And I'd love to have a round of applause for everybody who performed this evening, who really shared so much of themselves through the screens, right? It's palpable. We can feel you. So, a big round of another big round of applause for our engineers, Adam Nixon and magic. Now, please get your drinks. It's always really nice to do a toast, to celebrate, to be grateful, even during times that are difficult. What are we so grateful for? We're grateful here for arts and community, for peace and justice, and all of us being able to be here together. So let's have a toast to health, to arts, to community, to peace.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Dentani to 100.
And before I turn things over to a discussion with everyone, just want to mention that there will be a rebroadcast of tonight's performance starting next week, July 19th, is it 18th or 19th? Next Sunday, starting at 2 o'clock, and that'll be up for several weeks, and that'll be on the same link as the performers table. So if you'd like to share that with your friends, anybody who can make it, it's possible for you to share that link widely because there's no limit on the number of viewers. So you'll be able to see this program again for several weeks starting next Sunday. Also, wanted to mention that this is the last Zalon of the 33-year season, but I will be starting again in the fall. And we'll be doing them, continue to do them online as virtual events. So the 34-year anniversary will take place on September 20th at the Zalon, and there's already an incredible program. In fact, they're already filled up through the fall and most of the winter. So please do come back and join the Salon next fall. And why don't we put ourselves in gallery view? Adam, if you're there. We can talk a little bit to some of the performers. I'm wondering if Angelique is still on the line because we didn't have a chance to to speak with her earlier. Angelique, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm still here.
Good, good. Can you talk to us a little bit about the books that you've written?
Oh, sure. Well, my poetry and art collection is called Saltwater Healing, a myth memoir and other poems. It was a limited edition, letterpress, hand-bound book made in the Bahamas by Ponciana Paper Press. And so it was a limited edition, so they're all, well, sold out. But it will be available soon as a digital archive copy through Ponciana Paper Press. I'm very excited about that. And so as soon as it's available, it'll be on my website, sistellablack.com. So you can find more of my art and poetry connected there on my website. I've also written a book called Resisting Paradise, Tourism, Diaspora, and Sexuality in Caribbean Culture, which is a scholarly book that examines the material effects of tourism on identity and culture and sexuality. So I've written a lot about various things, but I imagine you might be more interested in my poetry. So you can find it on my website, sistellablack.com.
Thank you, Angelique. Do we have any questions for Angelique? You guys can unmute yourselves if you like, if we can do that with so many people on, and ask some questions of the artists. Any questions for Angelique? You read her beautiful poem, This Arc Towards Justice, early on. I did mention that poem is, you can read the whole thing on my website. If you go under works and listen to the piece, This Arc Towards Justice, you can also read the poetry as well.
Yes, please.
Thank you, my friend and my collaborator. It's just so wonderful to have you here. It's really an honor. Thank you for opening up this evening that was just so filled with hope and connection. So,
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrea.
Do we have questions for any of the other artists? I think everybody is on still. Leandro, are you still there? And Nili?
Is Lizzie there?
There's Leandro and Nili. Leandro, can you talk a little bit about the piece that you played tonight? Was originally for Nili's ensemble, correct? Or was
the first piece that we played, the trio Quasimodo, this was originally written for the quintet, woodwind quartet plus bandoneon, because here in Buenos Aires we have that quintet called Quinteto de Academia, which is flute, oboe, clarinet, and bass clarinet, and of course bandoneon, and was originally written for that quintet.
And so how was that for you to reduce it for just the two instruments?
Well, that was the challenge. But mainly we have to distribute all the lines. I have to switch to the harmonic and rhythm section, and sometimes I play some melodies, but in general I just gave all the melodies to my director of my quintet, an excellent flutist. That's why I trust 100% on her.
It's my pleasure. He trusts me, and it's my pleasure to perform Leandro's compositions everywhere and forever, because he invited me when he wants, and well, I enjoy to share this music.
Thank you, Nili and Leandro. Please follow them. You can find out more about them on the performers table. It's a real honor. Leandro has performed here in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia Argentine tango school and also here in my home and in New York City. And he's such a gifted composer as well as performer. And Nili, it's just wonderful.
Idiot.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrea, for the invitation. Thank you very much.
So, so nice to see my friends from Singapore here, Jeanette Ikovics and Tyler Thorpe. They're having breakfast as they watch. We have a lot of chats. People were very moved by the artists tonight. Do we have any other questions for the artists that are still here on the Zalon? Phillip Cheah, Lexi, Paul, Carol.
Is Lexi still on? I have a question.
Or is Lexi Wee?
Cleaning up my kitchen, sorry.
I'm not sure Lexi's still on the Zalon. Lexi?
Maybe she disappeared.
How about Nicole? There you are. Nicole, say hi to Manfred. He's watching from his home in West Philly.
Hi, Manfred.
Your dance was so exquisite. And, you know, I think it spoke to all of us in a very personal and very prescient way. I'm wondering if you can talk to us a little bit about what you might be inspired to dance to next, or pieces that you're thinking about creating.
Yeah. So right now, that is the start of my Unaccompanied Suites. I have performed in the past with the Salon, so I'm working on these two pieces and pretty much combining them. So the past performance I had done for the Salon, I had done my own poetry and had the audience involved with that. Obviously, given the circumstances, things had to adjust with this one, but finding the balance between the two, and that's really where I'm focused, is putting my story in my life experience, being a mixed Black woman, finding my story and also making other people's story heard as well. That's the goal at the end of the day, is to be able to speak freely and to encourage others to be able to do the same in their process. I see you, Manfred. I miss you so much.
Are you on the West Coast?
I am on the East Coast right now. I'm here for about 2 months, and then I'm hasta luego.
Okay, well, I will be in touch with you.
Absolutely. Always. This is for life, Manfred.
Yeah. I have a project in mind, a Zoom project with dance, so.
I'm excited. So yes, and I do just want to take a moment to say thank you so much to everyone who was here, and also to you, Andrea, for just creating a space where people feel safe in expressing themselves in all shapes and forms. So I wanted to really take the time to say that, because I woke up this morning and I felt overall grateful for being able to have this platform. And that's where my activism, like I had mentioned, takes place. So thank you. I really do appreciate that. And everyone who just really tuned in. It meant a lot. It meant a lot. I always joke around. It's like, who's really the audience? You're watching me, but I'm watching all of you, and I'm so impacted by that feedback. So thank you.
Thank you, Nicole.
I have a question for Nicole.
Hi, Laura. I miss you. I remember dancing with you.
I put it in the chat, but I don't know if you saw it. I caught a few African moves.
Yeah.
Was that the case?
Yes, and It's very interesting how African dance has taken place, and it's had such a strong impact on my life. When I first started dancing, I was very much the ballerina, and I heard a djembe drum for the first time, and I experienced a different type of heartbeat. And from that point on, I've been on this journey. Like I've mentioned, I am a mixed woman, so finding that and it's just exploring both my Polish ancestry and my African American ancestry is so important to me. Yeah, it grounds me. And a lot of the time I find myself finishing performances after I choreograph and I'm like, that's not what I choreographed. And I'm like, all right, I think that was my ancestors telling me a little something there. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to move with it. But it's a journey. It's a continuous journey, and I'm grateful to be on it.
I love that you dance barefoot too with the earth.
Oh, I need it. I need it. And
we all need it.
Yes, it's
I try to walk every day barefoot on the earth at some
people
point.
think I'm weird. It's really not that common on the East Coast when you look, especially like Philadelphia, when you like walk out barefoot. It's not that common. And I'm that one person that's like, oh, wow, the ground is so warm today. It feels amazing. Where are my shoes? Like,
you know, some of us have been dancing together through group motion on Zoom. And it's a very different experience because you're not, you know, physically connected, but you are connected. And so there are different structures that Manfred and Brigitte are giving so that we can move closer and farther away and mirror our partners or do something on our own. I mean, I had a whole dance with my couch that I never was possible, you know, with the bare feet or looking out the window and mirroring something, you know, in nature, a tree. And so it's really been a wonderful opportunity to serve us until we can dance again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, just so you all know, we were dancing in the flesh tonight down in Delaware. Art and in Motion had a 2-hour workshop. So thank you, Manfred and Brigitte, for training Nina and Megan, because it was so exquisite to dance under these humongous trees. And there were, I guess, 8 of us. So it was a nice small group, but it was beautiful. Yeah.
I have a question for Carol and Daniel in Taos. So you two have been performing as a husband and wife duo for quite some time. And how does that work out? You know, who does the composing? You know, how do you find a rhythm in that as partners?
Well, it's interesting because we've been actually together for 32 years.
Oops, we just lost your sound.
Here?
There you are. Maybe just speak a little louder for us.
So we have been, did you turn something down? Okay. That's how it works. Actually, so we have been together 33 years and playing music together for 20 years. And we've always been very simpatico in our vision of music. I mean, we love the same music, we hear the same thing. And what has been interesting is to be able to perform together on stage. When we worked together originally, we would often argue, I have to say, honestly, and we would both want our way. And so it's really actually taught us through our marriage, music has taught us through our marriage, how to be able to compromise with each other. And that's been a really beautiful blessing and gift. But as far as how we work together with creating the music, Dan usually comes up with the concept, the song, writes most of the lyrics, and then I come in and step in, and then we create the music together. And we also have a band that we work with as well, some very, very talented musicians that we record with. So, yeah,
What's exciting for me is we live in a real travel through New Mexico and Colorado and see this beautiful scenery. We like to go to cemeteries. We like to visit ghost towns. But to be able to experience our travels together and then take all of that experience and put it into music is a really magical experience.
We do that often. We'll go to Leadville, Colorado. We actually wrote a song called Silver Dollar about it, and it's really all about the history and the town and our experience. And now we've been traveling more internationally, and so we probably will be writing songs more internationally as well. Well, hopefully one day again.
We brought a couple songs back from Ireland when we were there.
Right.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing your pictures from Ireland on Facebook. Beautiful photos. Do we have questions for any of the other artists?
I don't have a question, but I did put something up on the chat box. There's a big opportunity in Pennsylvania right now for independent artists. You could apply through PennsylvaniaBusinessesGrants.com for small businesses that have 25 employees or under, less than $1 million in sales, which I think probably fits for many. And it's the opportunity will be, they're ranging from $5,000 to $50,000, the grants. We have to be Pennsylvania based, and it's a profit making business. So check it out. It's called PennsylvaniaBusinessesGrants.com. One of the priority codes is independent artist. So directors, actors, poets, dancers. And so if it fits, you might want to consider applying.
Thank you, Lynn. Any other comments or questions? It's nice to just hang out with you for a few minutes before. Yes, David?
I have a question for Leandro. I hope you don't mind. I was just thinking, I looked up this instrument, which I never really heard of this show. And I was astonished at how hard it must be to learn it. You get a different pitch when you pull the thing out and when you push it in on the same button, like a harmonica, 2 reeds, a blow reed and a draw reed. And yeah. I play harmonica, so I understand about this. I understand also about how to get an instrument to do things that it wasn't built to do or nobody was thinking of when they made it. I play a diatonic harmonica chromatically, but my goodness, you've got. I mean, is it like a half step? When you push in, it's one note, and when you pull out, it's a half step up or something like that, or is it? You seem to be drawing a whole bunch more than you were pushing, and I was just wondering how in the world is he playing such chromatic stuff on that instrument? So I'm done.
Well, it is actually it is. But when you have to study bandoneon, you have to study like 4 different instruments, as I said on the bandoneon workshop on the Philly Tango Festival. I explained that, and it's very difficult because you have one keyboard opening, another keyboard closing for my right hand, and now you have for your left hand one keyboard opening and another different keyboard closing, because everything is mixed up. All the notes are mixed up. There is no order. It's totally random. So you have to learn 4 different keyboards, and even worse because instead the piano, you cannot see the buttons while you're playing. So you have to memorize the notes and memorize and learn 4 different keyboards. That's one of the most difficulty while you're learning bandoneon. So you can imagine.
Wonderful sound. It must have pulled at you hard to do all that. That's so great.
You can do it.
It is beautiful. Hey!
Stephen has a question for
Leandro,
you.
I have another question about that, about the bandoneon. I've heard, because all those buttons, you have like, a couple of dozen buttons or however many on either side of the bandoneon. And I've heard, tell me if this is true or not, that they're arranged kind of randomly. That they're not arranged in some sort of order the way a piano is. Is that true?
Can you repeat? Because I couldn't. Can you repeat, please?
Oh, I've heard that the buttons on the bandoneon, which are like keys, right, on the pianos, are arranged rather randomly. They're not arranged like in order the way a piano is. Is that true?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's what I say. It's totally random. Totally random. No order at all. It's totally random. Just notes spread all around every hand. So no order at all. You just have to memorize each keyboard, and as I said before, it's totally different when you open and when you close each hand. That's what I say, that you have 4 keyboards. One for the right hand opening, another when you close, one for the left opening, and the another one for... Yeah, that's what that's faith I put when I learned that for the first time.
Andrea, I'd like to talk to Phillip for a second.
Phillip?
Sorry?
We have a question for Phillip Cheah.
Hey there. Hey.
Oh, okay.
Phillip, this is Connie. I'm on Tom's computer at the moment. But
Hi. I love your Northern Lights background.
Yeah, I keep popping in and out. I have to sit at just the right spot for it to see me. There I am. I'm curious, when you choose music to do this project with, what inspires you? What particular things inspire you to choose the music you choose?
That's a great question, actually. So, like, initially when I started doing this, like I said in my little spiel at the beginning, it really was just recreating some church performances that I was missing, because I haven't done any church work since March. And but as time went on, I just, as a musician, I'm always attuned to what's happening around me, and with everything that's going on, I just felt drawn to pieces that either helped me find some sort of cathartic release or helped me express an emotion that I was feeling. And I do the same thing when I program. I'm a conductor as well, so when I program music or when I perform with Trudy, we were trying to find pieces that resonate either with the current times or with our emotional feelings at the time. So a lot of my pieces that you've seen on the YouTube channel that I've posted tend to be not morose, but they tend to have a reflection of the times right now. And I did Jake Runested's Let My Love Be Heard, which again was another piece that made me think about all the essential workers that are out there putting their lives on the front line, and I wanted to, and on all the lives they've lost through COVID, and I wanted to find a way to commemorate that. Lately, I've been actually on a kick to go the other direction and find more pieces that bring out light for us. I feel like with so much happening, we need to find more beauty and more light in the world. So all the pieces I've been doing have been light themed or light based. Tonight after the Zalon, I'll be recording John Rutter's Hymn to the Creator of Light, which is the setting of Catherine Winkworth's poem. And I find that this helps me to kind of see the end of the tunnel and to see hope and beauty and light and things. So, it's really just what I connect with emotionally. I feel like with anything I program or do, the music has to be something that speaks to me directly. Because if I can't feel the music, I can't get it across. And I was saying in a chat actually to somebody that virtual performances are very difficult because as a performer, I rely on seeing an audience. I rely on the back and forth energy. I rely on having that synergy. And we don't have that in a virtual performance. So I have to try to find a way to make my virtual performance speak emotionally to you while you're watching that. And I hope that did that while you were watching the video just now. But so if I don't believe in the piece, if I don't believe in the music, then it would not show in the video.
Thank you.
Sure.
I just I have one word for Paul Reisler.
Hi.
You are. Paul, do you have a website that I can contact you on?
Yes, you can either contact me through kidpanalley.org, Paul at kidpanalley.org, or Paul at paulreisler.com.
Okay, thank you. I'll go on the performance table and look. I have some questions for you about the songwriting projects you've been doing in schools.
Okay, yeah, well, please contact me. And,
yeah, that's an amazing initiative, Paul, that you've been doing, for these teens to express themselves. I mean, I just think everything, so much of what you've done is has really made its mark in the music field. I think now being able, like Nicole was saying, it's so important to just put it out there, to put those feelings out there. I just think the work that you're doing is really important.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm so enjoying it. It's so much nicer to be helping other people find their creative voice and trying to flog my own out there in the world in the music business. It's been a gift for me. So.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Someone had asked a question. This is Barbara Davis of me, actually. How and where do you find all these amazing musicians? They're from all over the world. And, I've been doing this for quite a long time, almost every month for almost 34 years. And being a composer myself and, working in the music field, I go to concerts, I hear performances, and if people move me, if there's something, that they're doing that has a duende, it's got to have this spark. I will talk to them about performing. Now it's even easier to be able to get people from all over the world, but it's really been just part of my own musical journey to interact with artists as a composer, as a curator. So I'm always delighted to find new people and be able to foster collaboration between some of these artists. So, you even just saw maybe Manfred and Nicole have a new piece that they're going to work on together. These things happen through the Zalon and Salon. It gives me a lot of pleasure. So thank you, Barbara. Any other last thoughts or questions before we sign off? And
Sure, Andrea?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll have some more rock genre on there? I'm a big rock fan. Love to hear some.
Yeah, actually, well, truly, there was supposed to be a lot in the fall, but the issue or the challenge is that during this pandemic, we can't have so many people performing together, right? So the ensembles that have been able to perform here are now, like with Lexi, one soloist or maybe two. So once we can start performing music together, yes, Louis, it would be wonderful to have the rock and the folk and the jazz and the choirs and all the big ensembles back. So
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I have a comment about the bandoneon, which I think I love the sound of the instrument because it's played usually pulling and then it breathes. You push without playing and pull again by playing. It sounds like a human voice. It's someone singing, and that gives it a very, very interesting quality. Is that? Do you feel that, Leandro? You feel that it has that singing quality?
It is for me that question. I couldn't listen very well because of the sound. I don't know if Andrea could say it again your question. I couldn't.
Te decía que canta porque como tocas tirando y no empujando y respira cada vez. Entonces es como una persona cantando.
Yeah. In some point, yes, of course. You know that what produces the sound in the bandoneon is the air, which is inside. So when I push, it's the same from your lungs, you know. It's very similar of the human voice, and that's why the air instruments, even more than the other aerophones like flute, oboe, that kind of instrument, this instrument is most similar to the human being. That's why it sounds like it was singing. And that is the reason that it feels like what you say. It's like someone is singing, and that's why I really love it.
Singing.
That's why. Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Gerardo.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.
Thank you, Leandro. Thank you, Nili. Any last questions that we might have for the artists? Well, I think it's just been so beautiful to connect with you all. Those of you who have been on the Zalon before know that there is something, even though we're looking at a screen, there is something happening, you know, energetically. We do feel each other, and that connection is so important now. So I just want to thank all of the audience and all of the performers one more time for playing from your hearts, and all of you for being here today. Leandro is laughing because I'm being served dinner. I've been standing here for hours. So thank you all, everybody. Let's put our hands together. One more show of love for all the performers.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Andrea.
Oops. Wait.
Remember to, if you can, check out the links for the donations for the performers. They'll really appreciate it. Any amount counts. And that is on the performers table. It's also in my emails, and email me if you need it again. And I hope to see you on September 20th for the 34-year anniversary. Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful night.
Bye.
Bye.